Before we start example 1, let's take a look at the top. A polynomial is in factored form if it is written as the product of two or more linear factors. So here's an example of factored form versus standard form. In factored form, we are multiplying two linear factors, and in standard form, it's just all multiplied out. In the box here, we have the zero product property. It says let a and b be real numbers. If a times b is equal to 0, then we know a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0. And this is what we're going to use in order to help us solve equations. So if we take a look at example 1 now, we have an equation that's already in factored form. We have x minus 2 times x plus 3, and it's set equal to 0. In order to use the zero product property, it must be set equal to 0. So x minus 2 times x plus 3. If either one of these things is 0, and we multiply it by the other, we're going to get 0. So all we need to do here is we're going to take the x minus 2 and set that equal to 0. Or we can take the x plus 3 and set that equal to 0. One of these two things has to be 0 for the whole left side to be 0. And then we just solve each thing separately. So if we have x minus 2 is equal to 0, to solve on both sides, we would just add 2. So we'd add 2 on the left, which means we'd add 2 on the right. And we get an answer that x is equal to 2. Or, on the right-hand side here, this x plus 3 equal to 0, all we would have to do is subtract 3 from both sides. And we get x equal to negative 3. So our two answers that we could have is x is 2 or x is negative 3. Let's try another one. Let's take a look at letter B. We have 3x times 2x plus 1. Again, we're multiplying two things together. This 3x is being multiplied by the 2x plus 1. So one of these two things has to be equal to 0. So we can take 3x and set that equal to 0. Or 2x plus 1 could equal 0. And then again, we solve each one separately. So in letter B, all we have to do is divide both sides by 3. And we get x is equal to 0. And then over here, with the 2x plus 1, first thing we would do is subtract 1 from both sides. And we get 2x equal to negative 1. And then we divide by 2. So we would get x is equal to negative 1/2. So the two answers we get are x is 0 or x is negative 1/2. We have one more that we're going to do together, and then I'll let you try a few on your own. In letter C, we have 2x plus 9 squared equal to 0. Well, 2x plus 9 squared just means we have 2x plus 9 and another 2x plus 9, which means they're going to give us the same answer. So all we really have to do is take the 2x plus 9 by itself and set it equal to 0. To solve this, we would subtract 9 from both sides first, and we get 2x equal to negative 9, and then divide by 2. And we get x is equal to negative 9 over 2. Next, I would like you to do the try this. So there are 3 problems that are already factored for you that I'd like you to solve. So pause it now and unpause it when you're ready to check your answer. If you did number 1 correctly, you should have gotten x to equal 1/3 or x to equal negative 1. For number 2, you should have gotten x to equal 0 or x equals 5. And for number 3, you should have gotten x to equal negative 5 over 2. If you have questions, let me know.